It seems like Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam has put some pressure on Kevin Stefanski and Dillon Gabriel. Now, the owner has weighed in on this quarterback situation.
The Cleveland Browns have lost the game. And we got to talk about the Cleveland Browns once again embarrassing themselves. Another loss, another excuse, and this time they're trying to feed us that Shedeur Sanders had a minor injury, so he had to sit out against the New England Patriots.
Cleveland. Oh, Cleveland. You might want to take a deep breath for this one. Just when it felt like the Browns couldn't possibly outdo their own chaos, Jimmy Haslam went and dropped an injury report so wild it had fans wondering if Shedeur Sanders got hurt on the field or in a soap opera.
Fire the coach!
Fire the coach!
We want Shedeur!
We want Shedeur!
Number 2 is ready!
Number 2 is ready!
Let him play!
As the world turns in Cleveland, we just got word today that Shedeur Sanders will be out against the New England Patriots this week at home. Shedeur Sanders was the number 2 quarterback behind Dillon Gabriel, but they just activated Bailey Zappi off of the practice squad, and it looks like, for all intents and purposes, that he will be the number 2 quarterback, citing a back injury.
The moment that QB2 spot vanished, Twitter exploded. The internet went off like a fire alarm, spinning out theories faster than a rumor mill on overdrive. And guess what? It's officially Hollywood-level chaos now. The Browns don't just make headlines. They create full-on seasons of drama every week. It's like they wake up, check the N.F.L. schedule, and ask themselves, what's the craziest headline we can drop today? Then, boom, Haslam pulls the trigger, and the whole league's jaw hits the floor. Jimmy Haslam, the man who treats shocking decisions like a sport, just blindsided everyone with a so-called injury report that makes zero sense.
The quarterback of the Cleveland Browns has been added to the injured list, and he's questionable for tomorrow's game against the New England Patriots. They activated Bailey Zappi, the quarterback, to the active roster. So he'll be elevated to the active roster. Shedeur Sanders has a injured back, and he listed questionable for tomorrow's game. So it's a good possibility that Shedeur may not be available for tomorrow's game. We'll just have to see. It's breaking news.
Fans are staring at their phones, squinting like, wait, what did I just read? Because the name on that list? None other than Shedeur Sanders, the golden arm, the college phenom who was supposed to be Cleveland's next big thing. Suddenly injured, mysteriously yanked from the QB2 slot and left the city in pure confusion. Now let's be real. Cleveland's seen some wild quarterback stories. They've had more passers than bad Tinder dates. But this one hits different. It feels like someone took the Browns' future, tossed it into a blender, hit puree, and served it with a side of chaos. Nobody knows what's real, what's spin, or what's coming next. But one thing's for sure, this story just turned into Cleveland's latest disaster movie. Because apparently, the Browns' depth chart now depends on how many plot twists Jimmy Haslam can squeeze into a single press cycle.
Shedeur is saying, why did you guys make me miss the game? Never negate that part. Shedeur didn't want to sit out this game. He has to go to his professionals, his quote-unquote peers, the doctor for that lowly franchise, the Cleveland Browns. And once again, they sabotaged Shedeur. They told him his injury was so significant, he has to quote-unquote miss this game. The truth is, they're uncomfortable with him being in the second string, and they think he makes Dillon so uncomfortable. This is why Dillon is playing horrible, because Shedeur is right there waiting. So let's just diagnose him with a fake injury again. You know, the same kind of fake injury they did during preseason. They claimed that Shedeur had an oblique injury. All of a sudden, the Cleveland media and press says Shedeur is probably going to miss half of the season. This was insane.
The news hit like a meteor strike. 1 second, fans were hyped about Shedeur's smooth preseason throws, his poise, his swagger, his leadership. And the next second, poof, QB2 gone, vanished. Like the football gods just looked down and said, Cleveland, you've been smiling too long, time for some chaos. Jimmy Haslam supposedly signed off after seeing an updated injury report, And let's be honest, when the Browns say injury report, that could mean anything. Somebody probably sneezed during warm-ups, and suddenly the medical staff's acting like it's a code red situation. It's classic Cleveland, confusion wrapped in mystery, sprinkled with a dash of bad timing. But wait, it gets even better. Fans have turned into part-time doctors overnight. Twitter's full of people zooming in on sideline photos like detectives, comparing tape on his hand, frame by frame breaking down practice clips like it's the Zapruder film. They've basically turned social media into a digital ER, diagnosing everything except the truth.
So Cleveland Browns insider Mary Kay has just reported that Kevin Stefanski is going to stick with Dillon Gabriel coming after the bye week. He's still leaving him in after a horrible performance this week, and majority of the other weeks he hasn't thrown for 200 yards, but in one game, 2 interceptions and a safety, nothing but 2 passes that were over 10 yards in the air, and he's still going to leave him in. This says everything about collusion.
Nobody actually knows what's going on, but that's never stopped Cleveland from making theories go viral. Meanwhile, Haslam's probably somewhere kicked back with a cup of coffee, watching the chaos unfold like it's premium entertainment. The man doesn't just own a football team, he's producing the NFL's most unpredictable reality show. Every week it's a brand new episode. Who's our quarterback today? What did that injury report really mean? Did we just trade our future for another PR circus? And the timing, oh, the timing. This had to drop right when fans were finally hyped about Shadow's rise up the depth chart. He'd been lighting up camp, making throws that turned defenders into background dancers, and everyone was saying he was the future. But in true Browns fashion, the second hope started trending. They pulled the plug, like joy itself was flagged for unnecessary celebration. It's like the Browns saw a little spark of optimism and said, "Whoa, that's dangerous. Shut it down immediately." You almost gotta respect their consistency. No team in football history mismanages hope quite like Cleveland. They've turned sabotaging momentum into an art form, a full-blown empire of expectation chaos. Even when they finally find a player worth building around, they can't resist hitting the self-destruct button just for the thrill of it. And fans, oh, they lost it. Cleveland Twitter turned into a digital battleground within minutes. Some were convinced Haslam didn't want to pay out that juicy roster bonus that would have kicked in if Shadow stayed QB2 too long. Others swore it was all a sneaky plot to protect some fragile veteran's ego.
Ian Rappaport put this tweet out about an hour ago. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam also weighed in on his team's quarterback, saying 3 games for Dillon Gabriel is not a great sample size and that the team wants to see more. He also said that Shedeur is making progress in practice, so we're going to continue to work with both of those guys. Thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't really have a ton because it kind of makes sense. It's him saying exactly what he should say. Shedeur's progressing as a
Then there were the karma theorists saying, this is just the Cleveland curse coming back for revenge. Because nothing screams Browns football like being haunted by your own ambition. The jokes got brutal too. People were clowning that Shadow might have gotten injured just from watching too much film of the Browns' offensive line. And honestly, who could blame them? That kind of trauma leaves scars. But once the laughter faded, the theories started pouring in fast. Everything from blaming the turf, to the weather, to ghosts of quarterbacks past. Cleveland fans turned into full-time detectives trying to solve a mystery that probably didn't even have an answer. Then came the press conference disaster. Reporters begging for clarity, and the Browns staff answering with pure corporate poetry. You know the type. Those phrases that sound official but mean absolutely nothing. Lines like managing his health status, evaluating all options, and making a team-first decision.
All of a sudden, bro, injured from what? Y'all just said he didn't get the reps. What the fuck is he getting injured from? Yesterday, what'd he do? Yesterday, I just seen the video of him dancing, y'all. I'm dead ass just watching the video of him dancing. But y'all gotta think outside the box. New England was gonna put belt to ass this Sunday, right or wrong. It was gonna become a blowout. Then, guess who he was gonna have to put in? Him. He was gonna have to put him in. Come on, y'all. I'm not no fucking fool, y'all. I've seen Stefanski and the Browns try to finesse Shedeur every single way possible.
It was all fluff, no facts. You'd think they were launching a new iPhone. instead of explaining why the future of the franchise was suddenly riding the bench? And the real heartbreak? Watching Shadow at practice, helmet off, face calm, but eyes giving it away. He looked like a dude who just found out his Netflix pilot got canceled before it even aired. Cameras zooming in, reporters whispering, players trying not to stare. It was pure, awkward energy. The coaches were over-explaining every drill like it would distract from the elephant in the room. And up in that luxury suite, you just know Haslam was smirking like a TV producer watching ratings spike. The saddest part? This whole thing could have been survivable if the Browns had just handled it quietly. But subtlety isn't in their playbook. When chaos calls, Cleveland always answers. But of course not. Cleveland couldn't resist dropping this chaos bomb midweek, right before the media cycle went nuclear. They just had to feed the fire. And let's talk about what this does to the fans, because Cleveland's loyal base is emotionally exhausted. These people have survived heartbreak, tasted hope, then crashed right back into heartbreak again, and now they're just trapped in confusion. They're like that friend who keeps getting "I've changed" texts from a toxic ex. They want to believe the Browns finally figured it out, until another stunt like this hits and crushes them all over again.
Traded Joe Flacco so Stefanski would be forced to make Shedeur QB2. And he said, no, I'm going to go with Dylan Gabriel and elevate Bailey Zapp, who's been awful in the NFL. Now, this is organizational malpractice if I've ever seen it. And let's keep in mind, in these trade talks, the Jets are desperate. They're 0-7. Aaron Glenn does not want to be fired. He's a really good coach, but his quarterback play has been awful. When in the history of the NFL has a backup quarterback ever demanded a second-round pick? I can't think of a single situation. I'm in disbelief, and this might be NFL collusion, because there's no way you won't play him and you won't trade him, despite him looking better than the starter Deion Gabriel.
1 week, fans are hyping Shadow as the next big thing. The future, the spark, the chosen one. Then the next week, they're Googling how to emotionally detach from your football team. And honestly, who could blame them? The emotional whiplash is unreal. And because Browns fans are some of the funniest people on the internet, the memes came flying in fast. Someone edited a photo of Shadow fading away like Thanos just snapped his fingers. Another had Jimmy Haslam's face photoshopped over a mad scientist, pressing buttons labeled roster chaos and fan panic. It's hilarious, but painfully accurate. Because at this point, the Browns' roster moves don't even operate on logic anymore. They belong in a modern art museum under the title Organized Confusion. Meanwhile, the rest of the NFL is watching this like it's a sociology experiment. The medical updates are so vague, you'd think they were reading horoscopes. Stuff like, he's progressing day to day, or we're monitoring his situation. Translation? Nobody knows a thing, but hey, keep buying those tickets. The statements are so generic you could slap them on any player, any team, any century. Honestly, Cleveland's injury reports should just come with a disclaimer. All information subject to change based on mood, weather, or executive confusion. Because every time a player gets so much as a paper cut, the organization reacts like they need a full season to heal from the emotional trauma. It's chaos wrapped in confusion, served with a side of bad PR. And here's the kicker. The irony's unreal. The Browns spent the entire offseason preaching stability and focus like a motivational seminar. Unity, accountability, long-term vision. They said all the right words, wore all the right smiles. And then the second turbulence hit, they tossed their most promising young quarterback out of the cockpit like he was an unwanted app.
What kind of business is it when you've got a 5'9" quarterback running around and could twist an ankle, and Shedeur would have to play Sunday in Foxborough, and he's not getting any reps? That seems like bad preparation, no?
It does. You wouldn't question it if you know you had a backup.
If it was Kelly Holcomb, yeah, right. If it was, yeah, right. I wouldn't. It's not. It's a kid they haven't. He hasn't taken first-round team reps with anybody yet.
It's almost like, you know, the coach is saying, okay, you gave me 2 rookie quarterbacks. I'm going to prepare one of them, and we'll see what happens if he goes down. Well, it's not on me.
Stability? Please. In Cleveland, the only thing consistent is the drama. It's the Cleveland way. Promise peace, then deliver fireworks. Every single time. And right on cue, Haslam's defenders rushed in to spin the story. He's protecting the team's investment, they said. He's being proactive. Yeah, okay. And I'm being proactive by deleting my fantasy team before Cleveland ruins it again. Because let's be honest, this movie always ends the same way. Drama, confusion, injuries, or a mysterious disappearance nobody can explain. Somehow, no matter how the story starts, Jimmy Haslam always ends up center stage, conducting the chaos like a maestro leading an orchestra of mayhem. And now, fans are asking the big question, is this the end of the Shedeur Sanders experiment in Cleveland? Because when the Browns pull someone from that QB2 spot, it's never just temporary. That's Browns code for we'll slowly phase you out and pretend it was a mutual decision later. And if that's what's happening here, then congrats, Cleveland. You might have just scared off one of the most promising young quarterbacks before he even had a real shot to shine. That's not just a mistake, it's a masterpiece of self-sabotage. The thing about Shedeur is, he brings something this franchise desperately needs. Charisma, poise, and leadership that actually means something. He doesn't fold under pressure, he feeds off it. He's cool when things get hot, steady when the stadium's shaking. But somehow, the Browns managed to dim that light before it even had the chance to glow. Watching them extinguish their own spark over another report feels like seeing someone throw water on their only fire in a snowstorm. And you know what? If you wrote this as a TV script, the network would call it too unrealistic. But that's Cleveland for you, football's most dramatic soap opera, always one twist away from chaos. There's a dark humor in it too. The Browns are their own worst addiction. If this team ever had a calm, drama-free season, the entire city might panic from withdrawal. They'd have to create new problems just to keep the adrenaline going. And at the center of it all, Jimmy Haslam, the perfect ringmaster. A man who treats the franchise like a carnival game, spinning the wheel of fate just to see which position implodes next. Cleveland doesn't need reality TV. They are reality TV. Either way, Cleveland's PR team better start stretching because they're about to run the spin cycle harder than ever. It's damage control season in the 216. And through all this madness, Shedeur remains the calm in the storm. No outbursts, no cryptic posts, no side-eye comments, just quiet professionalism. Which somehow makes this entire mess even funnier. Because while the front office is out here throwing darts blindfolded, the kid sitting on the sideline is probably the only adult in the room. That's the crazy part. Shedeur's silence says more than any press release ever could. While the higher-ups panic and the fans spiral, he's just chill, composed, like he's already seen this movie before. But the rest of us? We're watching the Browns turn another simple situation into full-blown chaos like it's their favorite hobby. And the moral of the story? Cleveland just can't help itself. This franchise could be handed a generational quarterback, a stacked roster, and a golden chance to finally flip the script. And they'd still find a way to fumble the plot. It's not bad luck anymore. It's muscle memory. The Browns don't break habits. They embrace them like tradition. So here we are again. Another season, another quarterback controversy, another round of confusion, hot and fresh from Jimmy Haslam's kitchen of chaos. The injury report says uncertain. The fans say unbelievable. And the rest of the league? They're just shaking their heads saying, classic Browns. You can practically hear rival fan bases laughing across the internet, sipping their coffee while Cleveland trends again. And maybe, just maybe, that's the Browns' secret legacy. They're not just playing football, they're producing entertainment, not by winning trophies, but by redefining what football chaos really looks like. Every headline, every meltdown, every mysterious roster move, it's all part of the show. But here's the part that stings. Shedeur Sanders will keep trending, not because he did something wrong, but because Cleveland couldn't handle a little hope, a little promise, and a quarterback who actually deserved better. He's not a failure. He's just another chapter in the franchise's never-ending soap opera. Because in Cleveland, even an injury report isn't just an update. It's a full-blown drama, a mystery, and a meme all wrapped into one. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Because when it comes to Cleveland, the chaos never ends. See you in the next video.